council meeting, the first, I see Brandy's wearing purple, so that is extremely, we'll call this meeting to order. My name is Steve Stahl. I'm the police chief of the city of Maricopa Police Department and the chair of this council.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry to interrupt. We are having
members should know that this meeting is for the members of the public.
We're having some difficulty with your audio. Let's see, it was starting to sound better. Let's try that again.
All right, where did you lose me?
After welcome and your introduction of yourself.
Okay. So I have a couple of announcements to make.
That's better.
And the members of this council and live streamed on YouTube as a way for members of the public to participate. Please keep that in mind as we comment. I ask you keep your microphones on mute when you are not speaking. You can use the chat function that's at the bottom of your screen through Zoom. If you need to make a comment about any technological or logistical, the chat will also be recorded and part of the record. Of the meeting minutes, I ask that you state your record. And finally, for any action items, we will be taking roll call. I will have Brandy call out the council names and then ask you vote. So we'll move on to introductions. And since Brandy has those in attendance, I'm going to ask her to call each member's name and ask you to introduce yourself and your organization. And we'll start with Vice Chair Barker.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. And I see lots of purple. Very good. Yes. I'm Robin Barker. I'm a council member in Apache Junction and the vice chair of the council. I am really just delighted to be able to have a meeting. Thank you. And you did a marvelous job, Chief Stahl, yesterday at the regional meeting. Good job.
Thank you. So I'll call on members, and then if you can introduce yourself, please, starting with Celeste Adams.
Hi, I'm Celeste Adams. I'm the Client Resource Manager from Save the Family.
Zach Altman. Don't forget to take yourself off mute. Zach, I saw you earlier. Are you still with us, Zach? Looks like you may be on mute. Okay, we'll come back to Zach. Councilmember Bandon? No? Okay, John Bellotti? DC Ernst?
Good afternoon. This is DC Ernst with the City of Phoenix Fire Department Crisis Response Program.
Great. Oh, I see Zach there. All right. Zach, would you like to introduce yourself? You may be on mute. We see you, Zach, so I'll put you down as being here. Kristen Scharlau?
Good afternoon. Kristen Scharlau. I am a Human Services Manager for the City of Tempe, and I oversee the Care 7 program.
Great, thank you. Laura Guild?
Laura Guild with the Arizona Department of Economic Security, Domestic Violence Program Manager.
Thank you. Elizabeth Herbert?
I am Elizabeth Herbert. I'm the Chandler City Prosecutor.
Thank you. Samantha Hinchy?
Hi, I'm Samantha Hinchy. I am the Domestic Violence Response Coordinator for the Arizona Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic Violence.
Thank you. Councilmember Huang?
Hi, good afternoon. This is Councilmember Huang from City of Chandler.
Thank you. Mary Lynn Kasanik,
Hi, Mary Lynn Karatnik, President CEO of the Area Agency on Aging.
thank you. Patricia Clar, and Andrew Lefevre.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Andy Lefevre. I'm the director for the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission. We run the state's victim assistance and victim compensation programs.
Go ahead. It's Lisa.
Rick Leyvas,
You just put this.
Hello, everyone. It's Rick Leyvas, Lieutenant from Phoenix Police Department.
thank you. And Councilmember Littlefield,
Good afternoon. I'm Kathy Littlefield. I'm from the city of Scottsdale City Council.
thank you. Rachel Mitchell, Rachel, are you there? Okay, moving on to Councilmember Norton. Okay, Amy Offenberg. Amy, I see you on the screen.
Good afternoon. I'm Amy Offenberg with the Phoenix Prosecutor's Office.
Thank you. Gerardo Pena.
Hi, everyone. I'm sitting in for Gerardo Peña, director here at De Colores for Chicanos por la Causa. My name is Cindy Garcia, and I'm a program manager here at the shelter.
Thanks, Cindy. Lynette Pampa. Councilmember Spence.
Hello, everybody. Councilmember Bill Spence from the town of Gilbert.
Thank you. Sherry Steele. Brandon Wilson. And I believe we have Christina Blia for Aaron Yabu today.
Yes, good afternoon. This is Christina Blea with the City of Phoenix Family Advocacy Center.
And Sarah Youngblood.
Sarah Youngblood, I'm a managing attorney at Community Legal Services.
Thank you. Did I miss any members? Okay, we'll have staff introduce themselves. I'm Brandy Mead, the Human Services Director at MAG. We also have Tina Lopez joining us.
This is Tina. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you, Tina. And we have Jeremy Garcia as well, who is providing IT support. Thank you, Jeremy. Okay. Thank you. Back to you, Chair Stahl.
Thank you, Brandy. We will move to the call to the audience. Please note to the members of the public that they were given the opportunity to submit written comments related to this meeting to azmag within 1 hour of the posted start time. For that, I've received any comments from the public.
I have not received any comments from the public.
Thank you, Brandy. We will close that item, and we will go on to approve the agenda, the consent agenda. You should have received in your packet the agenda over email. And so we will need to do a roll call in favor or opposed or abstention to the minutes of the meeting. So can you go through that again, Brandy?
Sure. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
And a second?
Andy Lefevre, I second.
Okay. So I'll do a roll call. Starting with Celeste Adams.
Okay. Aye.
Jack Altman. Councilmember Bandon. We have Councilwoman Barker, John Bellotti. DC Ernst?
I wasn't at that meeting, so I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. Kristen Scharlau?
Aye.
Laura Gild?
Aye.
Elizabeth Herbert?
I wasn't at that meeting either, so I'll abstain.
Okay. Samantha Hinchey?
Aye.
Councilmember Huang?
Aye.
Mary Lynn Kasanick?
I'll abstain since I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay. Patricia Clark? Andrew Lefevre? Rick Leyvas?
Yes.
Councilmember Littlefield?
I was not at the meeting, so I will abstain.
Rachel Mitchell? Councilmember Norton? Amy Offenberg?
Aye.
Cindy Garcia for Mr. Pena?
I was not at that meeting.
Lynette Pampa? Councilmember Spence?
Aye.
Sherry Steele? Brandon Wilson? Christina Blea?
I wasn't at that meeting.
And Sarah Youngblood?
Aye.
Okay.
Hey, Brandy, this is Andy. I may have not heard you if you called my name, but I would vote aye.
Okay, great. We have approval of the consent agenda. Okay, you can move to
Thank
the
you,
next.
Brandy. And the chair votes aye.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I missed you.
Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate it. The chair votes aye and the motion is approved. Item number 4 is a report out on Domestic Violence Awareness Month activities. Rather than have Brandy try to go through all the list of names again, I don't know if everybody received Governor Ducey's video on the opening of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, but I believe it's one of the best he's ever done, and it's already up on our website here at the City of Maricopa, and it's being sent out by Facebook and everything like that. So I know that yesterday to the MAG Council, and they approved the resolution yesterday, and it went out to all the cities and jurisdictions, and hopefully they will do their resolutions for their own particular jurisdictions. So other than that, I would encourage anyone to just chime in by remembering to introduce yourself beforehand for the record.
Hi, this is Samantha Hinchey from ACES DB. And I just wanted to give a few updates about some stuff going on. So we will be posting daily on our social media channels for our 31 days of DBAM, and all are invited to share and repost. The list is also available on our website should any folks want to copy that and schedule it out throughout the month. Please use the hashtag EndDB in AZ, which is statewide, and I can put that in the chat when posting for DBAM. And then please also remember to wear purple on Thursday, October 22nd, and post on social media using hashtag Purple Thursday and hashtag EndDB in AZ. And then if you'd like for us to share any DBAM activities, please send the information to krista@acesdb.org, or you can contact the coalition. You can email me if you like. And then City of Phoenix will probably be sharing, because I think they're doing a bunch of stuff this year, but I don't see Sergio on the call, so I'm not sure. And then we are doing a Moving to End Violence statewide virtual walk run happening the weekend of November 20th. So please save the date, and registration details are coming. But that's all we really have right now at ACES.
I can jump in, Mr. Chair. So at MAG, we are also doing a calendar of events for the month of October. I did send that out with the Zoom meeting notice this afternoon, so you'll see that'll be posted on our website today. If you have events that you would like to see included on that calendar, please email myself, or you can also email Tina Lopez, that's T Lopez, Lopez, at azmag.gov, and we'll make sure that we have your event or awareness activity listed. You'll notice on that calendar there are many cities and towns that are lighting their buildings purple, so we really appreciate cities doing that. Also, many staff are taking photos of their staff wearing purple, either on October 22nd, as Samantha mentioned earlier, or during council meetings. And then we are going to be developing a photo gallery like we've done in the past, where we will share all of those photos of buildings and staff going purple. So if any members of the DV Council would like to do that, please send them to us, and we'll include those on our photo gallery. In addition to the calendar of events, we're also updating our website. We're going to have a special landing page that will include a list of domestic violence resources, Arizona facts about domestic violence, and we're also doing a series of short videos featuring domestic violence awareness, and we are focusing on the topic of the AZ point system and the electronic orders of protection. So I know Chief Stahl is doing a short video for us, Judge Finn is. We have a victim advocate, as well as our regional council chair, which is Mayor Wires from the city of Glendale. So those will be posted and featured on our website soon, and we'll be sharing the link to that as soon as we have that available. If you have any other ideas, please let me know. We're happy to link to your pages or link to your events and help promote those through social media as well.
Just for everybody, I did forget to mention, we did these here in the city of Maricopa. So we have end domestic violence masks. When we do the resolution, we will be doing these in our masks at city council meetings. So those of you who are interested in an end domestic violence mask, get with my program coordinator at the Family Advocacy Center, and she knows where to get them. And that'll look really nice on that unshaven face, Mr. Lefevre.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a shave on you for no shave. No.
Does anyone else have anything highlighting your events that are going on in your respective jurisdictions?
So at Chicanos por la Causa with the Colores, we have some team members that are going to be making YouTube videos, but in Spanish, about domestic violence awareness and education, because we've seen that it's been lacking in just the Spanish community, and so we want to make sure that we can have that more information that to offer that in Spanish.
That is outstanding. Great job.
Cindy, will you make those available to share with others?
Yes, absolutely. Once we get the links, I will send it off.
Great, thank you.
This is Christina Blea with the City of Phoenix. So in conjunction with Sergio Gomez in our strategic initiatives section, He's put together a Protecting Our Pets, Animals, and Domestic Violence webinar, which will be held on October 6th. He also has organized a virtual domestic violence awareness virtual run and walk, and that will take place during a 7-day period between October 18th through October 24th. And lastly, he has a domestic violence and the impact of brain trauma virtual training scheduled for October 21st. That's offered to our City of Phoenix employees. He has, he'll have all this information posted on our paintphoenixpurple.org. And he is also working currently with Channel 11, which is our City of Phoenix channel, to do a video in regards to all the different activities. They'll be interviewing also a victim advocate from the Family Advocacy Center. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Is there going to be a
No,
web link for
Gilbert
the
always
calendar?
likes their watercolor.
Sorry, Chief.
Go ahead.
Brandy, is that calendar going to be linked? Because
It's not, is it?
we'll go on our domestic violence page.
Yes, we'll be updating and posting that calendar today. And I missed part of your question, you cut out, but I think were you asking if it was going to be linked to the webpage? Yes, we will be linking that to the webpage. And we'll be updating that throughout the month. So for all of those great events that were mentioned today, if we don't have those currently included on the calendar, we'll update the calendar and make sure to get those included.
So Brandy, this is Laura. That would mean for any events that someone could sign up for, there will include hyperlinks into the registration.
You know, I will check with my IT person on the hyperlinks. I think the document is a PDF document, so I don't know if you can currently click on those hyperlinks, but I'll see if there's a way to do that. That's a good suggestion.
Brandy, I think Jeremy just muted you.
Oh, I had finished my statement, so I did mute myself. Is there anyone else that would like to report out on events taking place?
This is Kathy Littlefield from the City of Scottsdale. I kind of interpreted this a little differently, and I sent out a request for information from the people that work in this area in the City of Scottsdale and how they have found COVID affecting their activities and the activities of the people we serve. And I got one response back, and it was from our senior victims advocate from the prosecutor's office. And I'll read you part of what she said because it's how we're handling this in the City of Scottsdale. And according to her, it seems to be working very well. She says, and I'm quoting from her letter, "We have been able to assist victims telephonically with obtaining orders of protection via the AZ Point online system. And victims have been able to obtain their orders telephonically either through the Scottsdale City Court or through the Maricopa County Superior Court. This has actually been very convenient for many victims. It allows them to obtain these protective orders in the comfort and safety of their homes. If victims would rather obtain them in person, then the victim advocates have been able to accompany them to court and assist them with the process in person. In regards to our DV cases and court proceedings, advocates have been able to assist victims with appearing and exercising their victims' rights for various types of proceedings, both telephonically and in person. Many of the DV hearings are held via Teams, T-E-A-M-S capitalized, and advocates have been able to coordinate with courtroom bailiffs to ensure that their victims are able to appear telephonically and participate in the proceedings, just as if they were being held in person. So it seems to be working, at least to some extent, in Scottsdale. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. And you were reading my mind. You went right on to item number 5. So that's excellent. And I would ask anyone else to contribute the impacts of COVID-19 to your communities as it pertains to the domestic violence arena and how it's affecting people within your communities, so we may learn from you. We may take things to the state level so that we can be your voice and hopefully make some changes. I do know, and I'm going to start out with, I think, and I think I speak for most law enforcement agencies, it's not that it's necessarily increased domestic violence incidences, it has increased the violence in the domestic violence incidences. We're seeing homicide rates go up, and I think a lot of that is due to the courts not wanting to hold anybody any longer than they can or want to because of COVID within the jails, and they don't want to keep people in custody. So they're releasing them fairly quickly, or they're giving them very low bonds so they're able to bond out. And then we know from past experience that a minor slap on the wrist, or what's perceived as a minor slap on the wrist, sometimes results in increasing violence very quickly. So that's something we've talked to our county attorney about and some of our prosecutors about is, regarding domestic violence, let's take the in custody arraignment portion of this a little more seriously. And in turn, let's really be serious about conditions of release if we're going to release them, so that the law enforcement community has some teeth if they do violate those conditions of release. So that's kind of what I have from my jurisdiction, from the law enforcement arena as I've heard thus far. And I don't know if Brandy, if you want to go down the list, or if you just want people to chime in again.
Maybe we can start with anyone who'd like to chime in on impacts COVID-19 has had. And if no one's chiming in, then I'll go down the list.
I'll say something. This is Sarah Youngblood with Community Legal Services. We are still seeing a whole lot of evictions and housing cases. Despite the moratoriums on the evictions that are currently in place, we're still seeing a lot of housing problems. And we are also seeing a lot of family law problems. Those are probably the two main types of cases that are coming in the door. We're still seeing a lot of unemployment, but I think that's maybe gone down a little bit. But it's primarily that housing and the family law cases. And in normal times, we usually see a lot of debt collection, but we're really not seeing that much of that right now either.
Hi, Brandy. It's Kristen Scharlau from Tempe. Our mayor tweeted out the proclamation, our new mayor, this morning about some of the things that we're doing in Tempe to address the rise in domestic violence. And I agree with Chief Stahl. That's exactly what we're seeing, a lot more violence. Victims not being able to connect with their natural supports because a lot of places are closed. So the city of Tempe, in addition to our relationship with PD, we have the city council used CARES Act money to provide 3 apartments that will be used only for domestic violence victims. And we will use them as transitional housing to get people to more permanent solutions, but those will be available for our advocates to use. We also got another counselor for our clinical counseling program to help address the trauma associated with violence in the home, both for adults and for children. And we got 6 additional school social workers. We already have 7 in our high schools, 1 in each high school, but we got 6 for our elementary and middle schools as well to help with kids who are experiencing all the stuff that we're experiencing as adults, and need somebody safe to talk to about that, and then to connect with victim services. So our city really used the CARES Act money to help provide resources for the most vulnerable in our community.
Hey, Kristen, this is Steve Stahl. May I ask a question real quickly? Did your city use the CARES Act funding for those additional counselors at the school?
So yes, they did. And the way that it worked was that we freed up, yes, in a long story, there's a whole budget circuitous route to that, but yes, they did. We already had the program funded for the high schools. We've been wanting to get into the middle schools to get to the kids younger. And yes, so they did add those 6 additional positions with the CARES Act funding. Yes, sir.
Thank you, and
You're
great
welcome.
job.
Thank you very much. We're very appreciative and hoping that we can make a dent.
Hi, Samantha here from ACES DV. So basically since March, since everything kind of broke down, we've been tirelessly working on making lots of information for our programs and just for the community in general. So we have a COVID-19 page on our website. But one of the things I wanted to highlight today was a 10-page document that we published in June, and it is the impact of COVID-19 on sexual and domestic violence programs in Arizona. And just to kind of talk about it, there's a page that talks about the general impact, staff and personnel, supply materials, housing, shelter, and support and transport, housing, shelter, and transport, and these types of things, technology, and all of the effects that that have kind of had, and then some actions taken during COVID-19 and what the response has been with our programs. And so I will put that in the chat as well, but some things on there too. We have a creative outreach. One of the things, just like Kristen just talked about, was like how hard it was for people to get to an advocate or find resources. And so we made a creative outreach like toolkit. We made a toolkit for self-care, because that's really been a big need during this time. And so I will put the report in the chat for you all, but I highly recommend going to those. I can't even think of everything we put in there because there's just been so much stuff, but I just recommend just going there and just seeing if there's anything that you can use with your staff or for yourself or with your community or your family and friends. And, and just, if you have any questions, please contact us. We're totally here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Samantha. And I can forward that out to members after the meeting as well. Anyone else like to report out on COVID impact or what you're seeing?
Director Lefevre, is there a way you can update everyone on Easy Point and how you think that's going right now?
Certainly, Chief. I mean, the forward portals for Easy Point for victims and for law enforcement has been online and is working the way it's intended to work for a time now. We've asked the courts to see if they might be able to provide us numbers on the amount of folks that have utilized the system, but without knowing what was heading our direction, that system coming online in January, couldn't have come at a better time for folks that were trying to seek that protection from the courts, to be able to help them be able to do this from home or to not have to do it in person. So we're anticipating a good report out of the courts on the numbers that are utilizing it, and just the ability to keep them out of the court facilities, I think, was tremendously impactful at this time. So other than that, it seems like it's working very well, and we look forward to work on the system with everybody. We're making tweaks here and there on use, and we'll continue to try and improve it as we can as we go. So thanks for that shout out, Chief.
Yeah, and actually, if I could ask you to just give a brief update on the work you guys are doing on conditions of release and orders of protection.
Sure. So kind of our next big related project that we're doing in our systems area is, and I'm just trying to look here, condition release. So as you know, right now, if a judge orders a condition of release in a jurisdiction, there really is, it's very much a paper-based process, and there's very little notification of those conditions of release out, one, to law enforcement within that jurisdiction, but then even statewide. What we're hoping this electronic conditions of release system would be is if somebody is released with a condition of, no contact of an individual or no firearms or whatever, that there would be a way for law enforcement to see that if they come into contact with that individual, wherever they might be. I believe we're doing a pilot or two with a couple of jurisdictions right now. If that goes well, then we'll begin to roll that out across platforms like the courts, the Ajax platform for our superior courts, and then those courts that are utilizing similar systems. I don't know the end goal off the top of my head, that system live, but I know that's our next big IT project. So it's probably a good year or two out at this point, but we're hoping that will go a long way to helping make folks safer, because law enforcement would actually know if they come across somebody at that time and place that, hey, you're really not supposed to be here, that you have a condition of release to away from this individual or this area. So hopefully that will go close another gap, which of what we do at ACJC is look for those gaps and try and come up with a solution to close them.
I can report on what's happening with the DOVES program. I think most of you know the DOVES program is for older victims, survivors, 50 years of age and older. And we have a 16-unit apartment complex that we use for transitional housing. And because the individuals are 50 plus, it's always been difficult for them to get into housing and to get jobs, especially between the ages of 50 and 62. They don't qualify for HUD housing because they're individuals and not families. So they're having more and more trouble now getting into housing. There's always been age discrimination, and of course with COVID, it's more difficult to get jobs, especially with a high unemployment rate. So it's been more and more difficult. While we normally have a waiting list of 5 or 6 people, we've had as many in the last 4 to 6 weeks, as many as 25 people on the waiting list for the transitional housing. And so the people that are in the transitional housing, if they can't find other housing or get jobs, then the turnover is a lot slower. The other big thing is that we depend a lot with the older population to reach them through support groups in the community, and we've not been able to do that. I think one of the support groups now is trying to use Zoom, but oftentimes older adults may not have access to Zoom or in the technology. And of course, if you're at home with your abuser, you're going to have trouble being on a Zoom DV support group. Finally, we have mobile advocacy, and that's been very powerful too, in terms of we see several hundred people in that program every year. And a lot of it depend upon meeting an older adult somewhere in the community, in a coffee shop or wherever it might be, and help to do some one-on-one counseling and advocacy on, how to deal with their situation. And so we can't see people that way either. Interestingly, the first week of COVID, or say the first 2 or 3 weeks of COVID, one of my employees was still seeing this client one-on-one. And then she called and said that her husband had tested positive for COVID. And so we then stopped doing any in-person kinds of things. So anyway, so it's difficult, not only on younger people, but especially on older adults who are victims and survivors.
Thank you for sharing that, Mary Lynn. Anyone else want to give an update or share how your agency is responding?
This is DC with the City of Phoenix Fire Department. So our protocols really didn't change a lot through COVID, other than we do try to make sure that the customers that we're working with and the victims we're working with have access to a mask when we're working with them. We're still providing transportation as needed to get them to the Family Advocacy Center and shelters. We have established a new protocol. So typically our teams will only go out in teams of 2. And what we decided to do, because we've had some challenges, we've had volunteers who have elected to take a leave of absence during this time. So we've had challenges staffing our vans consistently. So recently we moved to after hours. So after 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then anytime on the weekend, if one of our team members does not have a partner, one of our part-time paid staff members, we're placing them over at the Family Advocacy Center to work an 8-hour shift to catch victims that might come in that otherwise we may miss. So we're finding some success at being able to help victims that maybe previously we would not have been able to have helped.
That's a great new protocol. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else?
Brandy, this is Andy. One other thing that we've done at ACJC that we were thinking about doing, but then pulled the trigger on for because of COVID was we've implemented as best we can an entirely electronic grants process. So we've implemented DocuSign now so that we can have our sub-grantees go through the process of getting their grants agreements approved and signed via DocuSign versus having to hand paper back and forth and be, have to be around people. So that's tremendously sped up the process for us of getting our grants approved and funded from, it was in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 weeks down to 10 days to 2 weeks now. So it's tremendously sped up the process for us to get grants approved and then get folks paid, which, ultimately that's for us is if we can't get the dollars out into the community, they're not doing the good that they're supposed to.
Brandy, I have, I didn't want to take away from any of the programs if they were here today, but I do have just a couple updates if you want to hear about some of the programs that we've heard. So while calls to programs have been low since the stay-at-home order, calls have been slowly increasing and things seem to be leveling out for the moment. Most reports of COVID-19 tests have been among staff at programs, although staff have been relatively healthy of late, and thankfully no programs have had to close across the state. Programs have been looking at modifications to shelter over the long term. The shelter completely decongregated and moved all residents into a hotel, although this created its own challenges as survivors felt isolated. So it's still been a learning process for most of them. Other programs have added plexiglass in their vehicles and shared spaces, and some have removed walls to allow for larger shared spaces to social distance while doing support groups. And then most programs are continuing to work remotely. Remote support groups continue to be successful with diverse turnout statewide and even internationally for some programs.
Thank you. That's great information. I appreciate you sharing that.
Okay. Yes, I have one too. So for CPLC and the colores, what we have done, I think it was almost about 2 months ago. I'm really bad with my time right now because like the weeks are kind of meshing in. But we have a partnership with ASU, and they trained a handful of us to do COVID testing. I'm one of those people, so they trained me to do that. So our goal is to have COVID tests every month, and so we do these community events. Our next one, I can send you guys the list of dates and stuff that we have for these community events. We have one coming up on next Thursday. So I can send you that information. It's a lot of hard work. I thought you needed to be a nurse to do this, but it's apparently we can do it, and it's great. So when we have these testing events, we transport all of our clients one by one to these tests so that everybody gets tested. All of the staff get tested. Through these months, since March, we've only had 2 scares for COVID. Other than that, it's been, honestly, everybody's been healthy. We've changed a lot of our processes. Like, for example, our dining area, we closed that down. People can still go into the dining area. They still have access to it. It's just that they go in just one person or one family at a time. What we do is we have a delivery service for food. So inside of our shelter. And so we have these tables that we've set up right outside each door. And whenever our clients want food delivered to their room, they place this table outside, and that cues us that they want a meal for that time of the day. And so we've been able to minimize face-to-face contact with clients. We still meet with them on an individual basis. We have supplied everybody with masks and just cleaning supplies that they need. We are now doing groups through Zoom. And so what we do is we pass out tablets to all of our clients and just connect them with our Zoom meeting and have support groups. And that has helped a lot, I think, especially when clients feel isolated because they don't get to hang out with each other like they used to. So that has helped a lot and just lets everyone just talk and have a safe space to converse with each other. I like the plexiglass idea, Sam. So I'm going to look into that too with our vehicles. I think that's a great idea. Trying to think what else. So yeah, so we've made some changes. And I genuinely think that these changes have helped with keeping everybody healthy.
Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate you sharing that. And I'd love to hear that ideas are being shared back and forth too. Any other members like to report out?
Sounds good. I'd like to remind everybody to remind all of your partners, now that school has started, be anticipatory of child abuse, increased child physical abuse and sexual abuse reports. It's going to increase your business, our business, and things like that. So make sure all your people are properly trained up on mandatory reporting and proper investigations and things like that. So our survivors can get the proper assistance, especially our young survivors, and get them the necessary attention. Are there any, on item 6, are there any requests for future agenda items or topics of interest to any of you council members? Guess that leaves that wide open to you, Brandy.
Okay, if anyone thinks of anything after the meeting, let me know. I love to hear your ideas. It helps me to bring an agenda and meeting to you that you find useful. So if you do have ideas, please let me know.
Any additional comments at this time? Any members from the council provided the opportunity to share information and updates for your information? It's nothing that we'll take any action on. It's just for information only. And I don't know how much you're aware of the progress going on for the potential of a Gilbert Family Advocacy Center, but Gilbert council member, if you have any additional information on that, would you like to chime in?
It is a topic of discussion. In fact, we have that as one of our topics for our fall retreat that we are organizing for the end of this month. I can forward some, hold on one second. My dog loves Zoom calls. So what I can do is once we promulgate some of the data that comes into the fall retreat, is to send that out your way just for some input from your team as well. We are working with some of our adjacent cities with our town manager to find out some of the needs from the other areas to make sure that we're able to facilitate supporting the needs of the region as well. So more to follow on that actually this coming month here. So.
Chief Staff, this is Laura Gill.
Very exciting news, council member. Thank you.
Laura, were you commenting?
Yes. Yes. To relax and listen and take this earphone out. Yes, I'd like to, Brandy, I hope this is not new news for you, because I did send you an email a couple of weeks ago, but I just want to share with the council and everyone that the DES applied for a third time for an OVW grant for a 3-year training program that will increase the effectiveness of the state's response to provide a safe environment for Arizona seniors residents. A lot of collaboration, coordination will be involved. The partners in the grant that everybody signed in and wrote, agreed to are MAG, the DV Council, our Attorney General's Office, our Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, the County Attorney, and Area Agency on Aging, just to name a few. And MAG has a definite coordination role in all of this with some funding. So the first stage of this process is about planning of how the grant will be put together and implemented. So I believe that if you haven't already received it, Brandy, you would have received a general email from our Assistant Director, Molly McCarthy, regarding it. I know I have the text of what's going to be sent out if it isn't already out. Just alerting everybody that it's in the works and we've got it. I mean, this is the 3rd year we applied for this and got it finally. So it's exciting news, and MAG and the Regional Council was cited in it because some of it has to do with violence and also protocols for APS. It's pretty extensive. So
that's really exciting and a good topic for the next agenda.
Yeah, I think by then there'll be enough coordination that there can be some discussion on it. Absolutely. So that's it.
Yes. This is Kathy Littlefield, City of Scottsdale. Laura, first of all, congratulations. That's wonderful news. And yeah, wonderful. I do have a suggestion, something that this organization could do that might be helpful. We are in the middle of elections, And when elections happen on city council, that means there's usually a large change of people coming in and going out. And I don't know how it works with other cities. For me, I was told I was going to be on this committee, and that was it. And so I didn't have any information either from anyone else, nor did I have any information from MAG. So for myself, I do not know if I'm going to continue to be on this committee after January 1st or not. I'm not up for election, so I'll be on the council, but it's up to the mayor to assign the posts. So if you could send to all of the current city council members contact information, who you are, what you do, what is the board, who are the board members, what are their contact informations, where is the meeting held? That was something that was hard for me to find. And also, when are the meetings usually held, when we can hold them in person? And any kind of information that you can think, what's the website? What are the information possibilities or links that are important to go to on the website? Those are things I never got. And it's taken me a while to figure all that out. And it would be very helpful if you send it to me. I will give it to the person who is the next Scottsdale representative, unless it's me, and then I'll keep it. But, it could be someone else because it's up to the mayor to make those appointments. So I think that would be something that would be very, very helpful to help new members of this council to hit the ground running. Thank you.
Thank you for that suggestion. It's certainly noted, and I'll be following up on those items. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I feel like I've talked a lot today, but I do have some updates. This is Samantha from ACES TV again. Let me just pull them up so that I can make sure they're accurate. So the ACES DV helpline saw higher numbers last quarter than the time frame last year, with an increase in calls of 27%. During that same quarter, we saw an increase in mail callers of 160% as compared to last year. ACES DV received a $289,000 grant from the Office on Victims of Crime to help domestic violence shelters build their capacity to serve survivors and their pets. ACES DV also received a $500,000 grant from OVW to build programs capacity to provide services to sexual abuse survivors with developmental disabilities. So partnering with 5 statewide disability advocacy organizations for that grant. And then we also have our Survivor Emergency Relief Fund that has oodles of money in it right now. So please use it. A lot of that is, for housing or for what anyone needs. There's definitely a focus on pets and what survivors need along with their pets, since we know that pets, I don't want to say that pets are a barrier, but they definitely make it harder because we have less resources in our communities for pets. Cindy knows this. She's heard my spiel many times over the last year. And so I see her nodding. But if you have any survivors that have that their resources are a barrier to them finding safety with their pet, please call our helpline. Please utilize us. We want to give that money away. We want to help the survivors with their emergency needs. And so just keep us in mind.
Thank you for that, and good work, and congratulations on the grants. Appreciate it. Any other comments from council members on? With that, I think I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move. Kathy Littlefield.
I'll second it, Sarah Youngblood.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yes, Sarah Youngblood seconded.
Chief, I
We
demand a
have a
roll call
motion.
vote.
Can you go down the list?
I heard a roll call vote was demanded, so.
No roll call vote needed.
Right.
I am required to do that. So I will go down the list. I'll try and do it quickly. Celeste Adams.
Yes. Aye.
Zach Altman, I think has us on mute because he is in court. So I'll take that as a yes, Zach. Councilmember Bandon. Councilmember Barker.
Yes.
John Bellotti. DC Ernst.
Aye.
On.
Kristen Scharlau.
Yes.
Laura Guild.
Yes.
Elizabeth Herbert.
Yes.
Samantha Hinchy.
Aye.
Councilmember Huang.
Aye.
Mary Lynn Kasinick. Mary Lynn. Patricia Clark.
not
Andrew
here.
Lefever.
Aye.
Rick Leyvas. Councilmember Littlefield.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Littlefield.
Yes.
Rachel Mitchell. Councilmember Norton. Amy Offenberg.
Yes.
Gerardo Pena.
Yes.
Lynette Pompa. Councilmember Spence.
Aye.
Sherry Steele. And Christina Blea.
Yes.
Great. And our chair, Stahl.
Definitely, yes. Thank you all for joining us. Through these difficult times, you guys are getting so good at Zoom that who knows, maybe we'll just do this all the time. I love seeing all your houses. Don't forget to get your DV masks, wear them proudly, and let's end domestic violence. Thank you very much, guys.
How can we get those masks again? Chief Stahl, did you say how we could get those masks?
Yes, contact my the programs coordinator of our Family Advocacy Center. She has the contact on how to get the masks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandy. Good job.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Can you send the information via email? How to get the DV mask?
I can share that with the group.
Okay.
So if you send
Yeah,
that.
I'll send it to you, Brandy. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Nice math, Zach.
Bye.
Not as good as mine.
That looks good.